More than 2,500 years ago, a power rose from the rugged lands of ancient Persia. At first, few people feared it. It began as scattered tribes living on the Iranian plateau, raising animals, trading goods, and surviving in harsh terrain. They were not the richest civilization. They were not the most famous. And they certainly were not expected to build one of the greatest empires. But within a single generation, Persia would conquer kingdoms that had dominated the ancient world for centuries. And the man who started it all was a king history would remember as Cyrus the Great. Cyrus was born into a minor royal family in the Persian region of Anshan. At the time, Persia was ruled by the Medes, but Cyrus had something rare in ancient politics: ambition. In 550 BC, Cyrus led a rebellion against the Median king. Against expectations, he won. The victory did more than just free Persia. It created a new power. The Persian Empire had been born. Cyrus quickly turned his attention toward the powerful kingdoms surrounding him. First came Lydia, a wealthy kingdom in what is now Turkey. Its king, Croesus, was famous for unimaginable riches. Yet even wealth could not save him. Cyrus defeated Lydia and added its lands to Persia. Next came Babylon. Babylon was one of the greatest cities in the world, ancient, powerful, and heavily fortified. But in 539 BC, Cyrus captured it with surprisingly little destruction. Instead of ruling through terror, Cyrus did something unusual. He allowed conquered peoples to keep their religions and traditions. This policy made him respected, even admired, across his empire. And within a few decades, Persia had become the largest empire the world had ever seen. At its height, the Persian Empire stretched across 3 continents, from Egypt in Africa to the Indus Valley in Asia and toward Europe. It united many of the greatest civilizations under one rule. But controlling such a massive empire required organization and military strength. Persia divided its vast territories into provinces called satrapies. Each province was governed by an official known as a satrap. But the king did not rely on trust alone. Royal inspectors known as the eyes of the king secretly monitored these governors. Meanwhile, a massive road network connected the empire. The most famous route was the Royal Road, stretching over 2,500 kilometers. Messengers could carry royal orders from one side of the empire to another in just days. Persia created a global administration. After the death of Cyrus and his son Cambyses, the empire entered a period of instability. Then a new ruler emerged, Darius the Great. Darius was not just a conqueror, he was an administrator. Under his rule, the Persian Empire reached its greatest territorial size. Darius introduced standardized currency, efficient taxation systems, and massive construction projects, like the ceremonial capital of Persepolis. Persepolis was a city of magnificent palaces and grand staircases built to symbolize the unity of the empire. But no empire expands forever without resistance. To the west, independent city-states began challenging Persian power. These were Greece. The conflict began when Greek cities in Asia Minor revolted. Athens supported the rebellion. Darius decided to punish them. In 490 BC, Persian forces invaded Greece. The two civilizations met at a place called Marathon. Against the odds, the Greeks won. But the war between Persia and Greece had only just begun. After Darius died, his son Xerxes I inherited the throne. Xerxes was determined to succeed. He assembled one of the largest armies the ancient world had ever seen. At the narrow mountain pass of Thermopylae, a small Greek force led by Spartan warriors tried to hold them back. The Persians eventually broke through. Athens itself was burned. Yet the Greeks refused to surrender. At the naval battle of Salamis, Greek ships defeated the Persian fleet. The invasion collapsed. Persia had been decisively challenged. Although Persia remained powerful for generations, cracks slowly began to appear. Court intrigue grew, and provincial governors gained independence. Revolts erupted across the empire. Maintaining control became difficult. And then, from the west, a new conqueror appeared. In 334 BC, a young Macedonian king launched an invasion. His name was Alexander the Great. Alexander defeated Persian armies in a series of stunning victories. Finally, in 331 BC, the Persian king Darius III suffered defeat. The empire that had ruled the ancient world for 2 centuries collapsed, but its influence did not disappear. Persian ideas about administration, infrastructure, and cultural tolerance influenced later civilizations like Rome. Its legacy still echoes in the history of Iran today. The empire proved it could rule through organization and respect. It was one of the first civilizations to connect vast regions into a single system. It reshaped the ancient world. If you enjoy powerful historical stories, subscribe to Vaulted Media for more fascinating and educational history.